All right, we're back. What's up, friends? We did it. We're in the new spot in the new podcast lounge. This is the first episode here.
Yes.
Pretty psyched about it. It's a construction zone right now.
The dawn of a new generation
It really
right here,
is.
gentlemen.
It's pretty echoey. So super psyched. We got in the lounge with us a incredible drummer. He came in from out of state, which I really appreciate, man. You're definitely the furthest the furthest guest we've had. So with us is Brucifer. What's up, man?
How's it going?
Good, dude.
You do validate, right? I have some. I got some gas beforehand. I need to.
Oh
get
yeah,
that paid out because
indeed.
Talk to the attendant on the way out.
I was told at least I was going to get at least a per diem of some kind.
Indeed. Well, I've offered you like 3 things and you haven't accepted anything yet.
It wasn't the right thing. It wasn't the right thing that I was wanting.
You want cold hard cash.
Yeah, it's like I was making that universal sign for money where you rub your fingers together.
Yeah.
It wasn't because it was dusty. It was because I needed a couple bucks.
Indeed, I hear that. Especially because she's going shopping, so
Right?
you're definitely going to need some.
Yeah, who the fuck's paying for that? Yeah, it's not her.
It's gonna be a expansive trip when all of a sudden.
Indeed.
3-hour cruise, you said, coming up from Ohio?
3 hours. Yep.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. But you been to Grand Rapids before?
I have to say I have to have been.
Yeah.
I don't remember why or
Yeah,
I know
yeah.
I've been up this way before. I had a couple buddies who lived in Ypsilanti. We would come up here this way too. So I've been through here. It looks familiar, but I don't get out all that much.
Yeah, well, nobody does anymore. Have you ever been over to like the beach? We were talking about a little bit online.
I have not.
Over to West Michigan. That's what I was saying. In the summer, like I wish it was summer. You'll have to
Right.
come back in the summer and we'll go over there because
Yeah, no,
it'll
I didn't
kind of
even-
blow your mind. If
I
you've
did
never
not know
seen it.
that Michigan had a beach for some
Bro,
reason.
it has one of the best beaches in the
Really?
world. Yeah, it's
Wow.
the West Michigan beaches in Muskegon and Grand Haven. And
I would love to come back and check that out for sure.
hell yeah, man, in the summer, and we'll have the fucking party spot open here.
Shit's wild, man. You always hear people talking about the ocean, and it's so mind-blowing. And the first time I went to the ocean, I was like, it's the exact same thing. Because,
right.
Lake
It's
Michigan
worse.
is as far as the eye can see.
Yeah, it's
you know?
all
not
water,
like-
so it's like you could tell me it's the Atlantic Ocean. And
Yeah.
I'm like, yep, great.
The biggest sand dune in the world was where we grew up in Muskegon, and they mined it all for casting parts in Detroit over the years, for the automotive industry. So it's gone. But just to give you like an idea of like the amount of sand and shit over there, it's
I had no idea.
yeah, it's wild, man.
It's like I
It's
had
wild.
no idea.
It's wild. All right, so what I want to do, I saw you play your show at Tony Piccoli's birthday party.
Yes.
What I want to do is try to describe to Shave Man here and Austin, to the audience, what it is that you do, and then you can tell me.
Well, if you can do it, that would be awesome because I honestly don't know.
All right,
so you can tell me what I did, and that'd be great.
Here's what it was. He sets up a video screen with a projector, and then plays these crazy fucking videos on the screen, and then drums along to it, and it's a combination of like drumming, like musical drumming, and like also like it's almost like Foley that goes along with the video with like effect, like on the drums, like sounds that go with the movies that you're playing.
Wow.
And it is hilarious and wildly entertaining. And I was so fucking blown away by it. When Tony told me before the show what you did, I was like, okay, I didn't know what to expect.
Right.
And like, I was right in front of you.
Yep.
And
you're actually in my YouTube videos.
good.
Yeah, so you can.
I was
when the shots behind me, you can. I could see you're just like looking around. And
Bro,
I'm like, oh,
I was
yeah.
grinning ear to ear.
Yeah.
And also, the dude next to me, some random guy I didn't know, passed me a joint, right? When
It might have been the same guy who was yelling at me because he was trying to pass me a joint. Like sorry, I don't mean to interrupt.
No, go.
There was a guy who, so from where I was sitting, facing the audience, he was like over here, to my left a little bit, and he just in one of my YouTube videos, you can hear him going, "Hey, hey, hey!" And I look at him, and he goes like this, and I'm like, "No, it's okay." And then so I'm like focused on away from him.
Yeah.
And you can still hear him going, "Hey, hey, do it!" I'm
So I was like, come on, bro. Like, you
I
said
said no. I mean,
you're
go
like,
fuck yourself.
you're
Guy just
performing,
blitzed
bro.
out of
Like,
his
You're lucky I'm
mind.
playing
Yeah.
right now because I get out of
Yeah.
my seat and come over here and brain you.
yeah.
But no, it was awesome.
Yeah,
So what's
man.
the deal with the videos? Are these videos that you create? Are they videos that you find online? Or
No,
what's
so
the deal with those?
It's a long. I mean, it's not really a long. I guess it could be a long story. Depends on how much you really want to know. So Brucifer came from a previous band I was in called Killbot Zero, which was pretty not really popular, but we were making a name for ourselves and doing similar things.
Okay.
So we started playing as an instrumental band in 2006 or 7, I guess. It was just me and a friend who played guitar. So initially when we started playing, it was guitar and drums, and then we'd write songs just like a traditional way, but we would throw them through the PA, the bass and the keyboard sounds, and we'd have a click. So we'd be wearing headphones.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
And it would be panned. So like one side would be click for us, the other side would be the tracks for the audience. So then all together, it sounds like a full band.
Yeah.
So what type of music was that? Was that like
It's the same.
like
It's
Animals
basically the
as
same
leaders
stuff. So,
type crazy instrumental stuff?
It was,
or like,
it was more guitar driven with some
Okay.
keyboards as like a a supplement.
Okay.
But so it was, because my buddy Chris, he was really good at guitar, so he would do more guitar stuff.
Yeah.
As we got older, well, he's a little bit older than I am, but as we progressed, we couldn't play shows as often because our songs were difficult. And we decided that when we would play, we used to have an iPod, and so we basically say, "All right, you ready to go?" Yes.
That's how we did it too
You hit
back
play,
in the day on an
and so it'd
iPod.
be like 1, 2, 3,
Yeah.
4, and then we just start playing.
Okay.
Yeah.
So as a song would end, you have like a 5-second gap, and then the second song starts.
Yep.
What it turned out to be was like a 30-minute song with no real,
Yep.
like no one knows when it starts and ends because you're just playing. But it was like, okay, one whole thing.
sure.
Then I had the bright idea to use. I had a friend who was better at the visual stuff. He just said, "Look, you have existing songs. I can make music videos and put them on a DVD for you." So then we had an Xbox that I brought to shows. This is how primitive we were. An Xbox, and we had a TV shelving unit. It was like one of those wire racks. It was like a 4-foot thing that I put in my car. And a 40-inch flat screen TV that I would also bring with bungee
Yeah.
cables that I had wrapped around it so it wouldn't fall over.
Yeah.
Nice.
Okay, so I'm hooking up an Xbox so that I can play music. So it was
And Gears of War if the
it's like,
movie.
it's like if shit goes sideways, at least I have a backup plan.
Right.
Like, hey, watch me play games, guys. So
You invented Twitch.
I will another lawsuit that I'll be looking into here soon. So then we would play. Basically, what happened was we hit play, and there'd be more visual elements, so that way it would divide up the songs a little bit better. Like one
Yeah.
song would have the old Mario cartoon show. One had like Godzilla.
Okay.
Just like stupid stuff. It wasn't really synced up well.
Yeah.
And then there's a guy. His name's Ron Jarzenbeck. I don't know if you have heard of him or if you. Okay, we need to look in, and we will check him out later because he's the one that I got the idea from.
Okay.
He took movies and he edited them down. So he took out all the boring stuff, all the talking, all the whatever. And it's strictly just action or interesting visual things.
Yeah.
And wrote the music to it.
Yeah.
So that's what I do.
Okay.
We started to do that in Killbot Zero. It was harder for us to do. We did it though, and what we did was we'd write song. We'd find a movie we liked. We'd take out all the boring stuff and try to make it like a 3 to 8 minute thing. Nothing too crazy. The biggest one we did was 20 minutes, and it was the Transformers 1986.
Oh,
Nice.
that's a good
so
one.
that's on YouTube. You can watch that, and it's with the finished audio and stuff. It's kind of split up into little vignettes, I guess, if you want to call it that way. It does have repeating themes that go over for the whole song, but you can tell where a song, like a section, will end. It's like, all right, Chris wrote this section, but I wrote this section, so we kind of pieced it all together.
Right.
But then as we kept going, I had actually. So, are you familiar with Tim and Eric?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so Tim and Eric
was on your stuff.
Yes,
Yeah,
Tim
yeah.
and Eric are a huge influence on me.
Yeah.
in
yeah.
general.
It reminded me, your whole thing reminded me of that and like Adult Swim vibes
Yeah,
and
so-
just all that kind of shit.
Tim and Eric are a huge influence on me. I love those guys. I love the green screen weirdness. I love the, the awkward visual, like there's people, that weird shit. It's just stupid.
Yeah.
But I went to see them in a live setting in 2010. I think they played in Columbus.
Okay.
What they did was they would come out as their characters, like a particular set of characters, and they would do a little bit of a thing.
Yep.
They would leave, to go change into a different outfit or do a different thing. But as they were changing, a TV would come on and they would be playing skits from the show.
Yeah.
So I was like, that's awesome.
Yeah.
And they're perfect for what I was doing because it's like they're 30 seconds to a minute long. So what I started to do, and we did it in Killbot 02, is I would take my favorite little clips and I'd put them in between our songs. So it's like, oh, okay, this song ends. Here's a commercial. It's ridiculous. It's a guy shitting himself in like plastic pants. Like whatever.
Yep. Oh yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, it's like some guy who's advertising an apple that makes you go to sleep and then wakes you up with diarrhea.
Yeah.
The classics playing the hits.
Yeah, I'm just going right for the hits. So we did that, and so that kind of gave what I thought was cool about it. Well, yeah, I'm ripping them off, but because it's something they did.
Yeah.
But it was also like entertaining. So like you come to watch us play and you see like, all right, these guys are good at their instruments and this is a cool video, but then, oh, that's funny. That's really funny.
Yeah,
I mean, I didn't create the videos, but I mean, I at least put it out there. So some people who had never seen Tim and Eric before are like, holy shit, that's really funny.
Yeah.
And so that's basically how Brucifer kind of came out of that, because eventually Chris had never really liked playing out. He loved writing music. He loved like work. We still work together and stuff, but he just never liked playing out. And I was always like, I want to play shows. I want to do this as much as possible. So like he I guess you want to call it retired from the live scene or whatever. And I'm like, well, I need to do this more.
Yeah.
I had tried figuring out a way to do it. And this was, someone had dubbed me Brucifer. And I was like, you know what? That's an amazing name. So I thought it was cool. And like, I kind of ran with it.
Yeah.
The first name that I came up with for my solo thing was called the Conundrum because it was drum. But it was okay.
It's well played. Well played.
Yeah, I was like, it's cool, I guess. But Brucifer just makes way more sense, you know. And so now, and that's basically all I do now is I'll find a video, a movie I like, and I'll cut it down, and I'll try to find something interesting about it, write music to it, and then go out.
Because there was like Doctor Strange was part of it. There was that whole clip where he's in the fucking whatever, in the space
and the multiverse or whatever. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
There was a few songs I didn't even get to play because I didn't have a whole lot of time for the set. It was like 30 minutes.
Yeah.
I have more that I haven't even played. Yeah. So like the next time I play, I have a wide array of songs that I can choose from.
So what's your sweet spot? Are you playing, like he mentioned, you guys are playing at a birthday party? Like, are you doing kind of private shows more? Are you playing in bars for audiences, or what's
we usually just play bars.
Okay.
There's a bar in Bowling Green that it was our home camp. It was called Howard's Club H, and it's still there. I mean, it's still there. We still play there. I still play there. It's one of my favorite places to play. And actually, Tony Piccoli and I had talked. You know, we're going to try to set up a show this spring. In Bowling Green. So
cool.
Mark your calendars down for March or April.
Yeah.
But yeah, we Killbot 0 opened up for Gwar in 2014.
Nice, man, that's amazing.
Yeah, but I mean, there were like 6. It was Corrosion of Conformity, and then Gwar. They played at Harpo's.
Yeah.
And we opened for them. I mean, we opened for Corrosion of Conformity because we were the last local band to play. There was like 4 local bands. Yeah. They had to sell tickets, and the amount of tickets, you know that deal.
I've been doing
I bought all the tickets, and then I was just giving them away to friends. Like, I want them. I don't care. I don't care. I want to play, you know. And
that's what they're counting on, really.
That was really cool. Yeah, that was really cool. And it was a great experience. But we played, I don't even know how many people were there. It was a big turnout, so that was really cool.
What was the first at your set? What was the first video? It was like the guy that fights the Nazis, like the 80s.
Kung Fury.
I feel like I'd seen that before or something.
Yeah, that came out in 2012, I believe. Okay, and it was.
But goddamn, dude, I mean and that's the one to open with, dude. That one was, I mean, like the other ones are great too, but like especially coming right off of that, I was just like crying, laughing. You know?
That I don't remember how I found that, but it was something. I think there was a Kickstarter or a GoFundMe. Or somebody was trying to make a movie. Now the guy who made the movie was the guy who was fighting all the Nazis.
Oh, okay.
Okay, in that video, he was the guy who was shooting the arcade game and all that stuff. That guy is like a visual effects guy. Yeah, and
clearly,
you can look him up, and there's like a behind the scenes, all this green screen stuff they were doing.
Right.
And it's really cool. Yeah. And so I think I paid, like, I contributed $25, and I got a HD download, like a digital copy of the movie.
Right.
And so I just chopped it up.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
actually, I didn't chop anything.
That one was like
all I did was like I just cut all the talking parts. So it goes in
okay.
succession of like when it starts to when it ends, and like it's about a 30-minute movie altogether. I made it down to 8 minutes.
I didn't know there even was. It doesn't need talking. It's better without. Probably.
It's I think the gist of it is that guy had a partner who died, and he went back in time to save him. Ends up having to fight Hitler, the usual shit.
That's a game-winning formula for sure. You can't go wrong.
And it's like I said, it's good. It's cheesy, it's campy, but it's really
but it's perfect.
But it's what it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
So that was the Kung Fury.
So to give you an idea, it's like when the dude like if he busts out like a Gatling gun and just he's doing like double kick or like snare to like go along with like those sounds and shit, right?
Yes,
like it kind of like
the theory.
lines up.
The theory was initially I was trying to do every single nuance that was happening, but what I found was like the drums, you didn't have any room to groove or flow.
Sure.
You're real chaotic and like whatever. And some of that, and sometimes I will do that because it makes sense for it. But what I started to do was like big things, like a machine gun, explosion, or little things like that. I can put hits in, and then I have room to be more of a normal songwriting where you're like, all right, you know what, we don't have to hit every single change, but it was a healthy mix of both,
right? Yep.
And it was a process for sure.
Are you doing it to a click then?
Yeah. So what I do is I use Reaper, and then Reason, and I have them in rewire mode. Yep. So as I'm watching the movie, I'm like, all right, here's an explosion. I will zoom in frame by frame till when it starts. Go over to go over to Reason and put a little click, or I'll make a mark or whatever, like a note.
Yeah.
Do that all the way through, and then I just start writing stuff. And like, oh, here's a bunch in a row, or here's that spot like what you were saying with the machine gun, and I just put like just bass drums in it, like so I know that at some point I have to hit a bunch of bass drums here.
Oh, okay.
And so then if there's a spot where I know I'm not going to hit individual movements, and it's just like, all right, this guy is going to be fighting a sea of Nazis. This would be a cool spot for a guitar solo, keyboard solo section, which is what I did.
Right.
And then as things changed, I would change too.
So you got a click going in your ear though?
Yeah. So the way I do it is I have the bass, the keyboards. I hear everything.
Okay. Yeah.
And then the click is just panned hard left.
Is your click because you're not like?
It's from Reason.
Yeah, but is your click changing tempos and shit? Because it's not like I mean it is, but it's not because you're doing all this crazy stuff and it's mixed to a movie. Like I was thinking about how you were doing it while you were doing it. I'm like, how's he doing it? And I'm like, is this as your click like moving tempos and shit and like changing
the
like
way
that?
I do it, I can't actually change the tempos. So when I have it, I have to pick a tempo and then write to it. But what you're hearing, well, when you see me play, I have a cowbell that I manipulate. I guess I can have it. I can stretch it out to be shorter or longer or whatever. But like usually, I just have a MIDI drum track that I'm hearing, and then like if there's a gap where I'm not playing, it'll have count ins. So you'll hear a 4 count of cowbell, and then I'm like, all right, now I need to go.
But wait, you're saying you can't change the tempo? You're listening to the track out of Reason?
I export the audio, and then I import it into like iMovie or Final Cut.
Yeah, your final thing, but that's after you've written everything.
Mm-hmm. So So I guess ask me again because I think I might have confused myself.
Well, what I'm envisioning is like, and maybe you're not doing it like this, but I thought maybe like, okay, you got scene changes in these movies, and you're doing all this crazy drum shit, and it's kind of like all over the place in the best way possible. Like I'm thinking like, is like this one clip at 120 BPM, and then you got to change it to 135 to match with this next thing, and it's like crazy shit like that.
Nope. So when you see like the Kung Fury was all one tempo.
Okay.
All the songs you saw me perform were all one tempo.
Okay.
Whatever that tempo happened to be, it was that way throughout.
So you just pick what feels right, and then you just work it.
Yeah. So if I have a particular idea that I'm liking, I'm like, all right, this tempo is at 138 or whatever. So then I'll start something.
Gotcha.
But I can change the feel based on how I play the drums. So like a metric modulation kind of thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's usually just one tempo for the whole song, and then whatever the next tempo is.
Gotcha.
That.
Okay.
And then so I have my own count-ins and that kind of stuff.
So do you still have your buddy help? You said back in the day when you first started, you had a guy kind of helping with the video. Is he still your partner in crime? You're doing that all solo now?
I do it all myself.
One-man operation?
Yeah, because I mean, I learned through Chris, my Killbot Zero partner. He was the one who showed me how to like edit videos and stuff. And I mean, I thought it was impossible, like because at the time I had no idea what I was doing, but it's when I found out how simple it was to just cut things out, I was like, oh, I can do this myself.
So process time, and this is kind of an impossible question, but what's the difference between doing something like that versus just writing a song from scratch? It seems like it's got to be so much more complicated to kind of sync everything up and you know, video editing aside, but
it took, I mean, to write, I can shit out a song in an afternoon probably, and I'm not saying it's a good song or a bad song. I could give you a song today.
It's the Nickelback model,
right? But
to
do what I do now it is very time intense, you know, because you have to find the movie you like, then you have to edit it down, then you have to come up with some musical content that you want it to go into.
Right.
Now I'm not trying to brag, but I can play the guitar a little bit. Now, not enough that I could ever be in someone's band, but like I noodle on the guitar, and that's how I kind of come up with riffs and stuff. And then like once I figured out something I like, I'll put it on the computer. It takes a while. I would imagine it would take me at least a month if I'm really in the zone to get if I'm like every day I'm doing it, you know, and honestly, I haven't been like that lately.
So how are you finding these clips? Like, is it stuff you've seen before? Are you just scouring? Do you have like a go-to thing?
Doctor Strange was easy for me because Doctor Strange is my favorite Marvel character. And so when I saw the movie came out in 2016, I was like, oh yeah, I'm definitely doing something to this. I ask people all the time, like if they have stuff that they think is weird, to send it my way. So I have people constantly saying, you should watch this movie. It's got some weird, trippy stuff. Yeah. Action movies are good. Superhero movies are, you know, like stuff that you know is going to have a lot of visual stuff. That's usually my like bread and butter.
Okay.
I have a video that I did that was it was called The Story of Ricky. I don't know if you're familiar with that movie. It's from the 90s or maybe late 80s.
It sounds familiar. I don't think
it's a kung fu movie about a guy who breaks out of prison and the warden turns into some monster, and it's totally.
Oh, is that the one you played that one too?
Yeah, it's totally weird and
fucking
it's like,
bizarre as shit, dude. It's all claymation-y.
Yeah, he rips off the warden's head. And like he gets thrown into a meat grinder, which is conveniently in a prison. And he's just like shoving his head down. It's bloody. It's it's weird, but it looks cool.
Oh yeah, weird campy fucking shit from the day.
I had a song that I didn't play that was Evil Dead 2.
Oh yeah, that's perfect too. Yeah, you could do any of those. Army of Darkness.
There's a couple songs that I have that were one that I played at the show that was an old song I wrote the old-fashioned way, just wrote a song, but I used Fiverr to have somebody make a video for it.
Oh, cool.
So I was like, hey, I have this song. I really want to play it, but I don't want to like try to sync up a video to it. I want it to just be weird. And I said, I don't have lyrics, so there's no real like theme. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah.
Just make it look interesting and be bizarre. Is the weirder the better, because like I don't care. You can't scare me or freak me out. Like if you made it so fucked up that I'm upset, then you have earned your money. And he didn't. You know, I was like, this is amazing, it's cool. But like he kind of made a through line story about a guy who gets hit by a car and he's like going into the afterlife. And it was cool because I didn't tell him to do that. He just chose that, and I'm like, dude, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So like, there's a lot of weird visual stuff that goes on in there too.
Dope.
So that's how that song does. But going forward, everything I do is going to be just like doing it where I'm the long way, writing to a pre-edited video.
So I got a request for you that I think you should do. I just watched the other night. I rewatched the original Ninja Turtles movie.
Ooh, man.
And it's got so much awesome, terrible fighting scenes and shit in it. The whole end where they start in the sewer in their lair, and they work all the way up to the top of the building where they end up fighting the Shredder at the end.
Like the old the 1990,
the 92,
OG, baby.
not the Ninja Rap one, right? That was
the second one. Also with Vanilla Ice.
That would be cool.
Talking Bebop, Top and Rocksteady.
Yeah, man.
Or no, Toka and Razor. That
whatever.
Too,
yeah.
I will definitely look into that. See if I can get a good 5-minute.
That'd be a funny one.
I know they made a movie. They redid all that stuff a couple years ago, like last 6 or 7 years. It was more CGI.
They did it with it's Megan Fox. No, I never saw any of those.
They did have a Krang though, and I thought that was cool because Krang, you know, I always loved Krang because he was so weird.
For sure, 100%, dude. Yeah,
and it's just like there's this weird brain living in this robot's stomach. What the fuck is
so
going
good?
But yeah, I will do my best to do that for sure.
Yeah, I actually, because I was thinking about you coming, I was thinking about the podcast, and when I was watching that, I was like, oh man, this would be a funny one for that.
Oh yeah, it's like I have so many. I have a list on my computer. Of
I bet that
like
there's
people as stuff comes in.
limitless ideas, dude.
And there's a movie just came out. It's called Mad God.
Ooh.
It was it took 30 years to make. The guy who made it totally it's all stop motion animation, I think. But there's no dialogue.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is perfect. So like I watched the trailer and it looked really bizarre. It reminded me of the Sober
Oh yeah,
for Tool video, like where with the pipes and like the meat inside. It reminded me of that kind of. And so I
love that shit.
Yeah,
man.
I have
Stop
a bazillion.
motion.
Yeah,
it's extra creepy, man. Claymation, stop motion stuff.
and
I'm horrified of it. I'm horrified.
I mean, that's like so. I haven't watched it yet, but I mean, it's on my list of to do things. And so another one was Mandy, the Nicolas Cage movie where he like kills a bunch of people. And
I don't know that movie.
Yeah, I don't know the full. I don't know what the plot is, but basically it's Nicolas Cage killing people.
Indeed.
So how can you go wrong?
Anything with Nick Cage seems like it's going to be a good bet for this endeavor
Nick
for
Cage
sure.
fucking montage.
Yeah, I'd also consider doing. And there's YouTube videos of people doing this kind of stuff where like you can write music to people talking. Because like you can
I know
sync it up. Like I
yes.
thought about doing like a little minute-long drum solo to Nicolas Cage freaking out, like a segments of him freaking out. So I have
people play bass to like Donald Trump speech. Or
yes,
something.
exactly.
I know what you're talking
exactly,
about.
Exactly, and that's something I thought about doing too. But like again, it takes a lot of time, and it's like I got to focus on what's more important at this. I need more. I need new material.
Limitless ideas on what.
If I didn't have to work, if my job was to do this,
right?
it'd be great. But
100%, dude. That's
goddamn
the case
those
with all
bills.
of us.
So are you putting the stuff out on YouTube too, or
as much as I can?
Okay.
So like I said, most of the stuff I use is copyright.
That's what I was wondering.
I know, me too.
So
Get
like,
away with that,
I tried to get away with putting the Doctor Strange video on by flipping it backwards, and so the algorithm wouldn't catch it, but it got struck. And so that's the hard part. Is like I have cool stuff to show you, but I can't show people.
How the hell do you get it out there? Without the
so
man
music,
coming down on
the
you?
music is cool, but it's like that's only one part of it. So you
Right.
want people to see both, and so I don't know a good way to show people the videos. Aside from them playing at a show.
We tried to do like a mystery science theater thing on our Halloween special on this podcast. That maybe I sent you that one, but it's like fucking impossible, dude. We were doing what the fuck did we do?
Lep in the hood, baby.
All the leprechauns,
the finest of all the
leprechauns.
leprechauns.
Same deal, dude. It's like I ended up fucking like literally like videotaping it myself on my computer screen, and even that fucking YouTube's like no. Spotify didn't give a shit though. So it's up on Spotify, but yeah, man, that copyright shit's tough to get around now.
So the guy who, my buddy Josh, who helped me put the my drum cam videos out for that show, he knows a lot about that stuff, so he could put clips of the videos that I used, but it's like a 5-second rule or 8 seconds. It's like he can't go past that. So like if you watch them, there are little spots where you'll see like you can see the screen and me playing together, or he'll just import the actual scene itself playing. So there's ways to get around it a little bit, but not full on. So
and that man. So so you had the whole camera rig there, and so is that stuff out now? You're saying like you put some of that together?
I have a recording of the whole set, but then we have 4 individual songs that I have on my YouTube channel right now because I'm starting to do that kind of thing. And so you're if you just look up Brucifer music on YouTube, it should show up. And
we'll put some links. Send me some links, and I'll put it in the description for our millions of fans that listen to this show. So.
Yep. Did you hear that? That's the Brinks truck backing up to us here.
So, and then I wanted to talk to you really about like your actual drumming, like how long you been playing drums. Like when did you start drumming?
I started playing drums. Well, the official story is I started playing drums in 4th grade. I didn't last very long because I didn't like the bell kit and the practice pad. I thought it was lame.
It was.
And I was like, "You expect me to do this?" I'm like, I want to play drums.
Yeah.
Like this is not a drum. As far like I know I'm not the smartest kid in the room, but this
that's the death blow to everybody. Nobody wants to fuck with that bell kit back.
Dude, lugging it.
I would just take my stick and glide it back and forth like. So I didn't make it a whole semester. I said, look, I'm not going to practice. I'm not doing this. And like, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
So I played sports growing up, played some baseball and basketball and stuff, and that was fine. But then when I was in 8th grade, I had a buddy who was in band, and he would every once in a while take me up there. He actually played drums a little bit, and I was like, all right, let me sit down behind these drums. He showed me a beat, like a real basic beat, and I picked it up pretty quick. And so I'm like, maybe there's something to this. Maybe there's something to this. So My mom had actually taken me. I had told my mom about it, and she had taken me to. It's not there anymore, but there was a store in Toledo called Dave's Drum Depot. Every summer they'd have a drum solo contest.
Oh, hell yeah!
Outside, and she heard it on the radio, and she said, "Hey, do you want to go check it out?" I was like, "Sure." And so she drove me up to Toledo, which is like a half an hour ride from my house. Watched a bunch of dudes just playing drum solos, and I'm like, "Yep,
nice.
This is me." That same day, I signed up for drum lessons. And then, so that was the summer of 8th grade going into my freshman year in high school. I signed up for band, so I'm like, I know nothing about band. Right. I know nothing about anything. I'm like, but I want to do it. So I'm like, I took lessons all throughout high school while I was still in band. My first year of high school music, I was not very good. I played the cymbals in the marching band. I was trying my hardest. I was getting better all the time. But I certainly wasn't where I was way behind everybody else.
Yeah, I mean, you would be if you're 3 years behind everybody else.
I've been playing for like 6-7 years.
Stupid
and I'm like,
question. Were you trying to figure out how to like read music at that point? Because if you're just doing it behind the scenes, were you just kind of jamming? Or
I was trying to figure it out. But okay, so that's actually a good point. Have you ever seen the movie Drumline?
Yeah.
With Nick Cannon.
Yeah, long.
Do you remember
time ago.
that he doesn't know how to read music?
Nope.
Okay, so
it's been a hot minute.
Nick Cannon in that movie didn't know how to read music, but he could learn by listening.
Yeah. Yep.
So that's how I played.
Yeah.
So I was like listening. So I listened to the snare drums in the marching band, like playing the cadences, and I would maybe not play the stickings right, but I could play the rhythms right.
Right. Okay.
And so I could get that down. And so it was all about learning how to read the music. So that was where I focused on, because my playing ability wasn't bad. I was raw. So I was like crazy. So I could do a lot of stuff, but I didn't know what I was doing. I could like play fast, but I didn't have any control over it. I was just like spazzing out and like, ah!
Yeah, pretty typical.
So then the lessons I had, they honed it in. They reined me in. And it's like, all right, this is what you're doing. So you need to understand what you're doing. So I learned through that. So like I said, halfway through my sophomore year, I actually kind of got the reading part down. And once I learned how to read it, like my ability went up really high, because I'm like, all right, now I know what I'm doing and I know why I'm doing it.
So were you playing full kit in band, or were you playing just like snare or individual drums? Or
I didn't play full kit until the sophomore year or third year, because I was in jazz band then.
Okay.
The first year I was just in the marching band, and then we had a sit down band, like a concert band, just playing timpani, xylophone, that stuff. I wasn't the greatest at that. But yeah, I started doing the jazz band my sophomore year, junior, senior.
Okay.
Yeah. So then I was learning how to read charts and all that stuff too.
Yeah, yeah. You don't typically get into jazz band until like 11th grade or something like that.
I use the term jazz band loosely because we barely played any jazz songs.
Yeah,
we played like
rock and bebop
sort of rock
and pop
and funky
and,
songs and
funk
stuff.
and
I wasn't really playing too much swing, but I learned how to do it.
Yeah.
And then we didn't have a drum set at school, so I was in pep band too. So I had to make a drum set out of like out of a marching bass drum, a snare drum, and like timbales, and I brought a cymbal, like a crash cymbal from the band room. Oh man,
that's jank though.
It was. And then the next year they had bought a drum set. So
we had a really shitty Yamaha kit back in school. I remember, but it was a drum kit. You know, so.
Once they saw me doing that, they actually did buy a drum set,
right?
And I would play drum solos in the marching band. We had a little cart that was hooked up to, wheel it out in the middle, so the whole band would do a band dance during a drum solo.
Yeah,
and I was the drum solo person.
Nice.
So that was cool.
It's weird that schools like I was a pretty big band nerd, and they don't like drum set is obviously, I guess I can't have a million of them, but like it's so much more like conducive to like real music that you might do after school, or you know what I mean? It's like the skills you learn playing snare drum and shit, that's all great, and I've transferred all that to my drum set playing, but at the same time it's like nobody does that after school, but you could still, like you're doing or I'm doing, you could still have tons of fun playing a drum set, for the rest of your life.
Yes.
But they don't really like focus on that or teach that,
And I wonder, that probably speaks to a larger problem about having the teachers and having the funds to do it, and so there's and I actually had an electric drum set a few years ago, and I didn't use it. I actually donated it to my old high school.
Oh, cool.
Because I was like, look, you guys can use this. I'm sure you can use this for finer reasons. So because I wasn't going to try to sell it, because when you try to sell stuff, you never get what you want for it. So I'm like, look, if I can help them, I'd rather do that.
Tax write-off, actually.
Yeah, it wasn't a tax. I thought so, but it wasn't enough. I guess.
Oh, boo! That's
I got
weak.
screwed. So I was like, I went to the high school and said, "Can I have that drum set back? Because fuck you." They did not return my calls.
Was it like a nice kit, or was it just like
it was a Roland
Yeah.
middle? It was like a $1,300.
Oh, that's
it was
legit.
it was
A
middle of the
legit
road.
Roland.
Yeah, it was
Yeah,
good. It was
yeah.
good. I didn't need anything super fancy.
yeah?
Just something that I could mess around with. I hated it because the cymbals didn't choke when you would play them, so it was.
Oh yeah, you got to get a certain like I've pieced together my E kit through the years, and it's pretty high quality now.
Yeah.
And yeah, you got to get the cymbals that got like the dual thing if you want to be
Like dual
choking
triggers or
them.
whatever?
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's like one piezo's like up in it, and the other's on the edge, and then you like when you hit the one on the edge, it triggers the choke and shit. But I don't even fuck with that when I'm doing the E kit situation.
Yeah, and
It's like,
I like the idea. That's why I bought it, but I never really enjoyed playing it. I know I had some friends telling me that we can hook it up to the computer and put
Yeah.
Easy Drummer on there and put all some real
Yeah,
sounds. I'm like, just let me play my real drums.
yeah, well then you
Yeah,
gotta
that's-
mic them, and I mean
yeah,
this
I mean,
is there's pluses and minuses. I mean like it's never gonna be. I always tell people I've talked about E-Kit a lot because I have a lot of experience with it, but it's like I tell drummers like the mistake you make is thinking that it's gonna be a real drum kit. You have to approach it as its own instrument. You got to play it different. You can't. There's not like. You're not going to be able to get away with like a bunch of nuanced inner beats and buzz rolls and shit. Like you got to make it be like big and simple and like and shit like that, and just understand that like that's what it's going to be, and that's kind of what it has to be, and it's going to feel different. And so like when you get it out of your mind that it's not an acoustic drum kit and you're learning essentially kind of like a new instrument, then you can have more success with it. I
Yeah. Oh no, that's 100% right because you can't get the ghost notes and stuff.
It's
Not
like,
as well
you
as you
can, but it's like
not as
you
good
know,
as not as good
know?
as you would on a
Yeah.
real drum.
But they've
so.
gotten so much better, dude. Even like 2 years ago, I went to the NAMM show in LA, and they had some German company was set up there with their new shit, and they're just getting more and more and more like real drums all the time, and it's just like it's fucking kind of mind blowing, like you know.
Leave it to the Germans to
I know,
figure out
dude.
the engineering
That's the
specifics and
German
mechanics
engineering.
there for sure.
Yeah, I do enjoy an E-Kit. I don't know where the fuck I'm gonna put mine here. I'm kind of like, I don't know if I got space for it. But it's fun too. Like if you want to like if you're producing and you want to like if you're doing hip hop or like pop or something, and you just want to like get your quick beat out, you know, that you're just gonna be like repeating.
Yeah.
You know, you can just sit down and like lay down like something, and then you quantize it all on the computer. You know, and now you got your base of your song. You know, it's an easy creative tool,
Right.
You know.
So what do you do like all right, so it's a little bit different obviously with the Brucifer thing kind of playing along
Sure.
to videos and stuff obviously, but like do you have different drummers that you really dig like influence wise, or when you're first starting like
how
what
much
type of
time-
stuff are you
how
getting
much time
into?
do you got?
We got lots
all
of
the time in the world,
All right.
brother.
So when I started playing drums, my hero was Lars Ulrich.
Yeah.
Yep.
He and actually I found this. I figured this out later. This is like a side story. My dad used to be a stagehand at what's called the Huntington Arena in Toledo, but it used to be called the Sports Arena.
Okay.
And so bigger acts would come through.
Yeah.
In the 80s and 90s. My dad passed away when I was 6, and I'm not trying to say that to make you feel bad. It is what it is.
Yeah.
But like I have some backstage passes and like lanyards from ZZ Top, Pink Floyd.
Rocking that top shit right
I
now.
think that's what it's my mind. Motley Crue, Poison,
Yeah.
Metallica. So
I love all those
I had
bands.
all this shit. I have a little box, but I also had this pair of drumsticks that were white, or I mean, they were wooden Regal tip drumsticks with green grip on them.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So I didn't think anything of it. I just had drumsticks, and like I don't know where they came from. I didn't give a shit. When I was in 8th grade, starting to play drums, I was using them and hitting everything. When I got my first drum, I was like, all right, I'm going to use these over here. I eventually broke them. But I figured it out that those were drumsticks from Lars Ulrich.
Oh yeah.
and I fucked them up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I was watching the old live shit Binge and Purge. Do you remember those?
Yeah,
Like that
yeah.
one? And he was using those
Shit,
exact
yeah,
sticks.
yeah.
And I was like, I'm a fucking idiot.
Yeah. Shit.
The power of Lars flowing
yeah.
through you, dude, is too much.
For some reason, even before it was popular, I was like, I don't like illegal downloads. So Lars is my big influence. So I thought
That's awesome because I love Lars and he takes so much shit now, and I get into arguments with people about it.
Now look,
You know?
you might get an argument with me because I loved Lars when I old school Lars.
Yeah.
Something's going on. He's gotten better, but he had a rough patch that I'm like, what's going on?
Yeah.
But I will always love Lars. I will always
Yeah.
buy Metallica albums. I will always support them, even though I don't care.
You know who else loves Lars is Lars.
Yes,
to be sure.
100%. So Metallica was my band. It was like there's nothing better than Metallica. Like I had one of my good friends, Brian, when I was in junior high. So previous to junior high, I was listening to pop music. So like Ace of Base was like my En Vogue.
Yeah.
I loved girl bands.
Yeah.
And it was weird. Like I had no musical.
I like TLC.
TLC.
You know?
Like I had no reference to things. So it was just what I listened to. I'm like, this is cool.
That shit's good, man. Those girls can
I
sing,
still
dude.
fuck yeah,
I
dude.
love all shit.
Full disclosure, the video to Never Gonna Get It or whatever from En Vogue. I think that might have been when I got my first thing. Because there was something about those chicks and that leather. I was like, all right.
That was a hot video.
Things were happening to me that I had never
video
experienced
got the
before.
job done.
I forgot about that song. That's
It
a good
still
song.
does to this day. If it's a rainy day and I think of that Never Gonna Get It,
Feeling a little funny.
I got you.
A little
I got
funny
you.
down
Jam.
south.
yeah. So then when I got in junior high, I met Brian, and he was a good friend. Like still to this day, he's like, dude, listen to this. It was Ride the Lightning or whatever.
Yeah.
And I was like, holy shit, what is this? And so from there, I got into Pantera, and I got into like that kind of stuff. Vinnie Paul. I mean, Vinnie Paul isn't an influence of mine. I really liked him. I really liked Pantera's drumming.
Yeah.
I then started to get Modern Drummer magazines, and then I saw Mike Portnoy.
Oh yeah.
So that is when it all came.
Me too.
That'll do
Me
it.
too.
That'll
So
do
it
it.
all came down. I remember because my buddy Brian, he had shown me Dream Theater, which I had never heard of.
Yeah.
And I remember hearing Pull Me Under, and I thought, I think I've heard this before.
Yeah, it was on MTV
In
and
the
shit. That
90s,
song
yeah,
was
I think
actually,
I'd heard
like,
it before.
Yeah.
Brian played guitar. We started out my first high school band. And so at first we were trying to be Metallica, and then we tried to be Dream Theater.
Yeah.
We
That's a
failed on
tough
both.
ask on that
we
one,
failed
baby.
on both counts. So Lars was like the first real influence on me. When my mom got remarried, we played their reception. Me and Brian and a couple other buddies.
Oh, boy.
Daniel and Justin.
Doing
We did Metallica covers, yes.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, all wearing like little tuxedos and like.
Oh, yeah.
That's epic, dude.
So they had an actual cover band playing that night. But we asked if we could play a set, like borrowing their stuff, and they said sure. So we played like 5 or 6 songs, and we thought we were hot shit.
Indeed.
And like Daniel, his dad, was filming it, and I still have that footage at my house, and I'm like, yeah, and my voice is so high, and I'm like, holy shit.
Crucial question: are you still fucking with new Metallica or?
I am.
Yeah,
Okay.
did you guys
I am.
catch the new Metallica song just came out?
I am.
Brand new Metallica.
like I said,
Oh, how's that, dude?
Yeah.
I always support them.
Do you like the new Metallica
do.
song? I thought it was fucking sweet.
Yeah,
What's it called?
Lux Eterna.
Lux Eterna or whatever.
Yeah.
It's fucking killer. I like it a lot.
And then so I had used to set my drums up like Lars. You know, I mean, I don't know how much you know about his drum setup. You might know more.
Oh yeah.
But I had the 2 toms and I had the 2 bass drums and I tried to do everything like Lars.
Yeah.
And I even bought the Ahead drumsticks, the black and white.
Yeah. I had some of those too. I fucking hated them.
Yeah,
dude.
like changing the sleeves on those stupid
Can't
things.
use them, dude. They're terrible. They're the rebounds all wrong on them. Dude.
Yeah.
Not-
They're like
Everyone was
aluminum or
rocking
something,
those
right?
back in the day, if I remember.
Yeah. I mean, the whole thing is they don't break, right? That's their whole like
Parts
sales
of them
pitch,
don't
you
break.
know? Yeah, I'm kind of like, okay, I'll just use real sticks that do break. It's fine.
And they're cheap. Like the sleeves are just as much as a pair of drumsticks
Right,
anyway. So it's like
right,
I'm not really saving. Then when I got into Dream Theater, it was all in. And like I was like, holy shit! So then I got obsessed with Dream Theater. I got obsessed with like Liquid Tension Experiment, Transatlantic, anything that Mike Portnoy did. I was like, okay, that's sure, all right, it's cool. If he's like, look, we're gonna go kill a bunch of people. I'm like, all right, Mike Portnoy, who we killing?
Portnoy's doing it.
Where are we putting the bodies? Like I don't care.
It's funny because Lars and Portnoy are both these like larger than life like band leader type guys too as drummers, which is not super typical. So it's kind of interesting that those are 2 guys that you navigate.
I became that type of person.
Yeah.
Because in Killbot Zero, I was, for lack of a better word, I was the front man.
Yeah.
I mean, there's 2 guys, but Chris is super reserved. He doesn't like interacting with people. And I'm like, yeah, man, what's up? And I was like, I would do all the Lars and I would like stand up when I'm playing. I was like throwing my sticks in the air.
Yeah,
like I was doing all the showman stuff because
Yeah.
I'm like, well, look, if it's just 2 of us, and if he's just gonna stand there and play guitar, like do his thing, I need to make this. I need to show off, basically.
Yeah.
Well, that's what's so badass about the Brucifer stuff that you're talking about, man. It's so cool to have that visual element. You know, it's like in a bar scene, especially. It's not like you're getting a ton of that for most people. You know?
I was worried that when I did this, like no one's gonna like it, and I'm like, well, it's just a guy playing drums to a video. So like, I don't know, how cool can it be? But like, I found that people do find it interesting, and you know, and I had to make it more of a multimedia kind of experience. That's why we're doing more of the editing of the videos and having those in between things to make it funny. Because I like to be goofy, and I don't take myself so seriously that I'm like, I am the best drummer ever, and like,
well, it's like a full performance, right? More so than just playing a song.
I like to think that if I can play a show with people that I know don't know who I am, that when I'm done, they're gonna be like, what was that?
Yeah,
that was cool.
Well, that's what I did.
But I had a few people that came up to me and were like, "What the fuck was that?"
I was gonna try to find you there, and you were kind of like holed up in the back. And honestly, I was pretty wasted.
I think I just put my stuff away. I wasn't scared of anybody.
A couple things is the visual aspects are at least 50% of every professional show now. So like, you know, like every big band you see, it's crazy visuals all the time for everybody always. So there's that. And I think though a part of what you do that makes it work is it's not just like a cool video to a song. It's the fact that you are like syncing it up to what you're doing, at least at points. Like I'm saying, I just use that Machine Gun as the example, but like little shit like that where it's like, oh, this is actually like goes with this.
It's got to make it feel so much more immersive when it's all kind of tied together.
I guess if you don't pay attention, you like might not think it, but then every once in a while, if they look over and they're like, they might catch on because it's not all the time, but like it's enough times that they will definitely catch it once or twice.
Yeah. I was catching the shit out of it. That to me was what was the most fun about it. It was like it would jam and you'd be like playing like music, quote unquote, and then it'd be like, you know, like I'm saying, going along to what's happening in the video.
You could hear the music going and you're watching.
This is hilarious. You know,
I think what I enjoy about when I do play is if I'm looking out there in between songs and I see people laughing at the videos in between. I'm like, okay, these are my people. Usually the people that come to the shows that I play at are usually like they're down. I've never had to been at a show where I was offended by the guy. I've never seen. I mean,
it's coming these days, baby. It's not too far out.
That man pooped himself, and I was not happy. But that always makes me laugh is when you hear people that are like, "Oh, Tim and Eric, yeah," or like they don't. What the fuck is that? And they start laughing when the guy shits himself. So I always enjoy that. I love being able to put that out and have people like, oh, I've never seen something like that before. That's kind of what I go for.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Something that no one has really seen before, because you might see a solo guitar player playing at any coffee house or whatever and just doing that thing, but to see a drummer playing by himself with a whole full band tracks and stuff is cool.
So how often are you playing?
Right now, the only show I've played was the one in November. I mean, I used to work at my old job. I was always working, so I couldn't really play a bunch of extra shows. I got a new job, and it's more understanding and more lax, so I can play more. So now it's just like about getting new songs and getting out there. So one of the things I wanted to do was make like a sizzle reel of what my performance is and send it out to other bands and venues. Be like, look, hey, if you got a show that you need an opener, let me know. I'll drive. I'll drive 3 hours. Apparently, I don't give a shit. I just to do that kind of stuff. So my goal for this year is to play a lot of shows.
That's got to be the tough part, is getting your name out there, especially with all like the YouTube restrictions and shit that you're talking about. Like,
and I think it'll be okay, because I mean I'm not trying to be rich off of it. Like I mean if I become rich off of it, I'm not going to argue. But I mean, like, look, I don't care. I think you can't do it if you don't do it. You know what I mean? Like if I'm not trying, I'm never gonna do it.
Throw it out there and see what happens.
If I played I played one show in 2022 and it was in November. If I played 5 shows in 2023, I think that could grow into 2024. Like I could play 10 shows, so 15 shows.
Well, and it feels like it's absolutely, or at least could be, such a word of mouth thing.
Yeah,
like,
it could be definitely like this weird underground. Like,
well, it's gonna be huge now that you're on this show. It's gonna fucking blow up, bro.
The financial windfall undoubtedly coming your way is gonna be.
Hear that work? I quit. Fuck you. Oh, I'm sorry. I need my job. Please don't fire me.
One thing that I liked, and Tony Piccoli was saying, like, we got to get a spotlight on you. People can't see you. I was gonna argue against that, and it's not like you want to be able to see you some, but I actually thought it was kind of cooler that it was like almost just you're really kind of focusing on like the video, and yeah, you could still see you. So I was thinking like maybe like a red light or something like that, but like
the thing that happened there was I talked to the sound guy at the Token, and I was like, can we get just like one light to come down on my side? And they said, well, they don't really work like that. It's kind of all or none.
Yeah.
And so I was like, all right, well then none then, because I didn't want to be too lit that you couldn't
can't see the video.
Yeah,
right,
so I was like,
right.
you know what? I don't like the way I look in general, so I'm like, look, it's fine if you can't see me. That's totally fine because I don't care. Like I'd rather just play and you watch the video and we're good.
Yeah. It wasn't that. I mean, you could still. I was watching you.
No,
you could
I know
still
you could
see you.
Yeah, you could
like,
see me.
yeah.
But my buddy Josh, who filmed it, helped me film it. He told them halfway through, like, turn the light on, and I was like, turn that fucking light on. But I didn't know he did it. I got up like, turn that off. So I didn't know he was telling them to do it.
Yeah.
But so, and it was a trial and error thing. So now the next show I play, like, I might even bring my own like little lights.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I was thinking like if you just did like one red light, because red light doesn't affect your night vision, so you can still see the audience. I mean, could still see the screen. Like it wouldn't affect their night vision in order to see the screen.
I was
but you
also
could
worried
still
about the
see
smoke
you.
machine too that they had. I was worried that was gonna that was gonna like
that thing was cranking.
Yeah, I was like, man, is this gonna like fog everything out? But I don't remember what I was gonna say. Oh, you know, I still have an acrylic drum set, and I had lights in it.
Yeah.
So I have lights in it.
Love that.
It's not the full setup like I had that night, but I could definitely still play it. It's a little scaled down, but it I can switch the lights and stuff, and
or use some of them or something. You can do. You ever see them where they have the lights on piezo, so when you hit the drum, it lights the lights. You know, that's fucking cool. Mm-hmm. Yeah,
that might be a little distracting though. With
well,
all, like,
yeah,
the
with what you're
stuff.
doing, it's just going
to the background.
You could also set it up with I don't remember what it's called. A light rig or whatever, so you can send out all the MIDI to the light thing. So I can actually program the lights to change in time with the fills.
Yeah.
So as long as I'm playing the fills right, I mean, like they can cut in and out, and I can play all this stuff. But
that's what we're doing in one of the band I'm trying to play live with. We're programming in lights and shit to our videos right now. Yeah. So one thing too is it was hard because you're fucking setting up, but like you couldn't get the projector to actually be fucking square on the screen.
I think something's wrong with the projector because I've had that problem.
Yeah,
often.
well, you gotta, you do the keystone thing.
Yeah,
and you gotta line all that up and whatever. What were you setting the projector on? What were you doing?
It was on. I just had a stand, but then I used my wallet to
crop it up. yeah,
I just put my wallet underneath it
because we're using projectors, and I was using or have been using music stands, okay, which it's a little sketch, right? Because you're flattening them out or whatever. What I've just discovered though is, what works fucking great? A fucking snare drum stand.
Oh,
you set it in the basket of this, and that way you have like total control over pointing it too. And so, like, I wanted to pass that along to you because I just discovered, that's a great way to fucking position your projectors.
I don't remember what the actual stand is that I got. It was something for, I think it was like a laptop stand.
Yeah,
something like that. But yeah, snare basket sounds actually like a
Check
smart idea.
I know. I thought so too, and I figured it out. I was like,
man.
you can just set that in the basket. And
also, that projector is probably 11 years old.
Bro, the old ones are better. I've
Really?
gone through all this. The new ones now, okay, you've probably looked. They're selling all these little ones now, right?
Yeah, I would never get a little
Bro,
one.
well, I mean, but that's like the. No,
Are you talking about the ones that are like phone size?
No, they're still. There's different ones, but like, they're like, it's much smaller and cooler and blah, blah. And it is. Like cooler temperature wise, like because they got those bulbs in them, you know, and it's like I A/B'd those because I had one at where I work versus one of the old fucking ones with the big bulb in it, and they do get hot and shit. But like, the difference was fucking night and day. Like it was the old school ones are so much brighter.
Really,
they get so much bigger. So I'm just kind of like, and you can fucking pick the old ones up on eBay for
nothing,
next to nothing or whatever because people are giving them away, and I'm like, and they have more connections, so you can daisy chain them. Like I'm daisy chaining them together with you just use a serial cable. So like we have 3 going.
Whoa.
So it's because there's 3 of us, so it's like 1, 2, 3 kind of set up. And so, yeah, it makes it really easy to just like, and I'm like, fuck, man, these old things, you can pick one up for $50. You know, I'm not going to pay $800 for one of these new ones.
I think that's what I paid for it when I first got it, like a decade ago.
Yeah.
But it doesn't get used that much. You know, I'd use it maybe like 5 times a year. So I'm like, it's got legs.
Yeah, man, for sure.
It's got legs.
And you can replace the bulbs in them. And like, you know, to me, everything that they're trying to make it be a negative about those is like actually the positives about them.
Just to sell more bullshit.
You just don't make them like they used to, you know.
That's right.
You want to tell us what's been going on in the world? It's been a couple of weeks here.
So much to catch up on, dude. 3 works of terrible, terrible news stories.
3 what? 3 works?
When I say 3 works, I was getting a text from my mom, which came through on the laptop right on this.
All right, hold on. Let's do the thing. Wait for it.
The Dangerville Podcast presents News of the World.
It's music to the ears after 3 works, isn't it? Good to hear that again. All right,
let's hear it.
So jumping right into it. Artist hand-painted dress to match her work goes viral. So this is a little bit back before the holiday. Came across this bad boy. Louisiana artist Mandy Posh needed a dress for the opening night of her art exhibit and painted a white cocktail dress to match one of her pieces. It was this big thing, apparently went viral. Must have been a slow news week that week. I don't know. People were into it.
Okay.
Her dress was a big success, and it's recognized as the second most viral dress in history, but fell just short of the mark set by the blue dress that Bill Clinton paid in white back in 95.
All
right.
Yes.
Off and running. All right.
Monica Lewinsky jokes. Bringing it all
Keeping
the way
it fresh,
back
baby.
To the 90s.
A classic never dies, gentlemen. What can I say? All right, so toy makers aim products at grown-ups. This is getting to be a big thing. Like adult grown-up toys. Everybody, research and trading cards, all this shit.
Not the fun kind either.
Yeah, indeed. So since the pandemic, there's been a sharp increase in the number of adults interested in purchasing toys. Among the hottest items for adults are Star Wars and Harry Potter themed Lego sets, adult Happy Meals, and action figures from different action movies like Marvel and that kind of stuff. Ranking among the least popular items purchased by these adults are dinners for 2, condoms, and jeans under a waist size of 48. Because they're nerds. All right. I didn't say they were good jokes. I just said they've been stockpiled. That's it. I made no claim on the validity of these bad boys. All right, cruising right along here. Congress moves to ban TikTok from U.S. government devices. Did you see this?
Well, they tried that before but Trump actually tried that.
Yeah, it's like, apparently some big Chinese spyware thing. Rogan's always going off, and you read the terms and conditions. They can access all your other devices, even if they're not on, and even if they don't have TikTok. It's a whole thing. So under this, TikTok would be banned from most U.S. government devices under a proposed spending bill from Congress, the latest push by American lawmakers against the Chinese-owned social media app. So it kind of resurfaced in this whole thing. Among the politicians most disappointed to hear this news was Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell, who lamented the fact that the countless hours he spent perfecting his twerking technique have now been spent in vain. In vain. I was really enjoying the break more than dedicating myself to writing quality material here. All right. So, final nail in his coffin. Trump's taxes contain powerful evidence of criminal tax evasion. This is the thing I just saw the other day. This story also went on to detail the fact that his hair has displayed similarly powerful evidence of criminal comb evasion for several decades now.
Jesus Christ.
Comb evasion. No, we're gonna skip this next one. If you thought the last ones are bad, we're just gonna pass this next one over. Probably ditto for that one here. All right.
Oh, come on. What do you got?
Go through these. All right.
Let's hear a few.
All right. So
don't deprive the audience of what they want.
Gotta give the people what they want for sure. All right. So a failure of a Vega C rocket launch happened in French Guiana. The launch of a European rocket carrying 2 observation satellites failed less than 3 minutes into launch due to a decrease in pressure, leading to the premature end of the mission. In a related story, a recent premature E-mission from Boss D has also led to an unexpected crashing of his rocket and a massive failure to complete the objective at hand.
Thank you. Okay.
Get one in there for my boy here. All right. If you thought that one was bad, just wait. This one's all-time terrible right here, but I had to do it. 25,000 and counting. So saw this one a little while back. A huge group of redhead ducks was on the Straits of Mackinac, and it kept growing for a while. 25,000 ducks is apparently like this big gathering thing that happens every year.
Okay.
Pretty wild. An enormous flock of ducks gathered in the waters near Michigan's Mackinac Bridge and was growing bigger by the day. In a related story, a flock of seagulls is gathered in the record player near my living room. Biologists speculate their intent is to rock my socks off.
Yes.
Flock of seagulls.
Hey now.
All kinds of current events. Dropping flock of seagulls knowledge. Dropping some Bill Clinton, Monica Lewinsky material.
I like the flock of
All right.
seagulls, man.
So this one goes back, a little Christmas story to warm the heart here, not too far past Christmas. So a Wisconsin waitress got $1,000 tip from a customer on Christmas morning.
Oh.
So waitress at Gus's Diner in Sun Prairie, Wisconsin, got an amazing surprise Christmas morning after the man she was serving breakfast to, gave her $1,000 tip. When asked why he left such a generous tip, the man said it was because of her kind demeanor, excellent customer service skills, and the fact that she agreed to give me a hand job under the table while I ate my Denver omelet. Yeah.
He overpaid.
Indeed.
You can get an omelet anywhere, man. I don't know. I'd just eat Insta eggs and go jerk off in the closet. You know, I save my fucking money.
Agreed. Yeah, that's a hefty price tag for sure.
There it is.
McMahon sound bites for days. It was an ironic situation where a tip led to a happy ending instead of the other way around. Yeah. All right. So South Korea lifts ban on imported sex dolls.
Oh.
Yeah, this is a whole
That's
thing.
good.
Yep, they're confiscating sex dolls at the border. Apparently, it was legal to make them in South Korea.
Oh.
But they had to be of only the finest
Corner of the
South
market.
Korea. Yeah, indeed. Couldn't import them. However, they're going to continue to ban the import of childlike sex dolls and others that embody certain people. So lookalike dolls are still going to be banned. Among the list of banned dolls is one resembling the likeness of Sarah Jessica Parker, with South Korean officials stating, unlike Matthew Broderick, this country has standards.
Oh, man. Wow.
Hi-oh.
And last but not least here, German churches are looking to save on heat. So after a recent slowdown of gas supplied by Russia, German churches are looking to conserve on their heating, offering extra blankets and heated cushions to help keep their worshipers warm. So in supply of gas going crazy, like Germany's in this big thing. It was cold as balls before the holidays and stuff.
I
They
heard
couldn't get the
something about
gas they needed. So what the church is doing, they have also asked their priests and altar boys to pitch in on the efforts, strongly encouraging them to remove all clothing, huddle up in small secluded rooms, and use their natural body heat to help fight off the cold. So
It's only
doing
natural.
their part.
Makes
Wow.
sense.
Yeah.
Praise Jesus. Hallelujah.
And that, ladies and gentlemen,
Has been.
is your...
The Dangerville podcast presents News of the World.
Pretty underwhelming after having 3 weeks to prepare. I'm not going to lie. Not going to sugarcoat it. It is what it is.
Good job.
Feels
start-
good to be back in the game,
Indeed.
boys. Feels good to be back in the game.
It's been saving those up for a long time. Yeah.
He's like, I can't wait to tell them. I'm going to fucking blow their minds. They're definitely going to love these.
Oh, they're all terrible. I'm just sitting there cracking myself up.
I
Like,
know.
oh, yeah, this is the worst gold ever.
They weren't as bad as you're making it out. They were good. You get an A for effort.
A for effort's all I can hope for.
Indeed.
Yep.
So I saw this thing. I sent this to you. I got a little bit down the rabbit hole over the holidays checking this whole thing out. And apparently it was like a pretty big deal earlier in the spring. Have you heard of this Loab AI thing?
Oh, yeah, just because
LOAB.
you sent it to me. Yeah.
Yeah, dude. This
You
shit
seen
was
that shit?
wild. So
Let me see if I can pull
I was
up.
going to say, we
Yeah.
should see if we can pull something up here. So while you're doing that, all right, so there's a Swedish artist. She goes by the name Super Composite on Twitter. She's like a musician / artist. she's been fucking around. I'm sure you've probably heard about these. They've got these new AI things where you can punch in prompts. I think it was probably similar to what you use for the podcast art, actually, and just tell it like,
yeah, it is.
I want to see 3 guys jumping around holding American flags or whatever.
Sure.
And it, kind of puts together all this different information, spit something out.
Right.
So she was fucking around with this thing. It's a negative prompt, apparently, which is like asking the machine algorithms to create the extreme opposite of something. So the initial prompt, which I thought was pretty hilarious, was Brando. She was trying to get a negative prompt of Marlon Brando, so like the exact opposite of Marlon Brando. The image that came back, it was this weird like cryptic skyline logo over a city, and it said Digita PNTICS, Digita Penitix, some random word.
Here it is right there.
Yep, so that was the thing that spit out. So she took that, fed that back into the system with another negative prompt, so the exact opposite of whatever that thing is, and that's when this Loab thing got spit out. And it's this super creepy series, yeah, like that right there. And there are a bunch more fucked up ones, but it's like this old ass lady, these sunken eyes, like these super red, like rosacea cheeks.
From
and
where
shit.
I'm sitting, it looked like Alice Cooper. From where I'm
Dude,
sitting.
it is. It's just Alice Cooper, no makeup. Is that Ronnie James Dio?
Yeah.
But go up to that one with the kids and stuff. And I guess there were a bunch of
right
them.
here?
So she's being kind of sketchy about it. Like she wouldn't say the exact engine she was using because she didn't want people to replicate it. And a bunch of the images that came back, she's not even posting them because it started to send back like increasingly fucked up stuff.
I would
like,
make that an album cover 100%.
yeah, dude. But it was sending back like dismembered screaming children and shit and just all sorts of like really fucking evil stuff. All off of a negative Marlon Brando prompt thing that came back with this other deal. It's super fucked up, man.
Indeed.
And no matter how much she was trying to like
somebody.
yeah,
Gonna be a contender.
all kinds of on the waterfront material. But she was trying to like add distortion and fuck with the prompts and stuff, and it kept spitting this thing back out, which it just seemed super fucking random. So it was this whole creepy thing, like
Trying to find more of these
internet
images.
demon. Yeah, she's got a Twitter feed. I know.
Oh, here we go. Why is it called Loab?
One of the images came back basically with that chick and just the word Loab somewhere on something in the image.
Oh yeah, that's
So
I was
this
making
got-
Lisa Loeb jokes.
Yeah,
Do you remember Lisa Loeb? Oh, I would use any of these as a fucking album cover.
Yeah. So I'm interested. I don't think you can even get them, but like
Oh,
some
I
of
like
the
that.
super
Fuck.
fucked up shit. Like she was just like, I'm not even pushing this stuff out there, and these are just like the tame ones apparently. But how fucked up
Look
is
at
that?
that, dude. What the
That's
fuck,
so
man?
weird.
That's some Hills Have Eyes shit right there.
And the fucked up thing, it's not like she, creepy woman or anything. It wasn't anything like that. It just totally spit that shit back out randomly from a word.
This looks like fucking. Do you guys know who Chet Zar is, the artist? Mm-mm. He's a visual artist. He's done some work with Tool and a bunch of other shit.
Soak that one with the testicles on the side of the
Is
face.
that
or
even? I don't
whatever's
even know
going
if
on
that's.
there.
I mean, maybe it is, but that's like. What the fuck?
Yeah, it's pretty goddamn wild, man.
Yeah.
It's some Bloody Mary shit for sure.
It's kind of like the Slender Man or one of those fucking weird internet like. Yeah. I don't know.
So it's the start of the singularity, basically. The machines are taking over. Oh, that's fucked up. You'd soak that in a little bit.
What the fuck? Loab
It's creepy, man.
coming out.
Pretty creepy.
It kind of reminds me of that fucking what was that doll movie, that Annabelle or whatever?
Oh, I never saw it, but I know what you're
Did you watch
talking
that
about.
shit? I went down and actually over Christmas break, I think I rewatched or watched a bunch of those fucking what the fuck are they? The Conjuring or whatever? It's all part of that. And shit. You into horror movies and all?
I recently have been getting into them. I never used to, but it wasn't for any other reason. Just it never really drew me in. I have watched a few the last couple weeks.
Yeah.
I watched all 3 Human Centipedes,
Oh,
and
okay.
I watched
That's
Terrifier
bold.
1 and Terrifier 2.
Yeah, I haven't seen those yet. Yeah.
Art the Clown,
Yeah.
he's awesome.
Yeah.
but the production value of those movies is not
Yeah.
great. And then the second one is just totally ridiculous at the end. But Human Centipede 2 might be the best movie that has ever been made.
Damn, I never saw that. I saw the first one, but I
Okay.
haven't seen the second
Awesome.
one. Yeah.
That's awesome. You need to do that tonight.
Watch some Human Centipede 2.
Yes.
All right.
You need to watch the second one, and then you need to watch the third one because it's like a palate cleanser.
Yeah.
I don't want to tell you what happens, but it's fucking weird, man.
Yeah.
Have you seen it?
I think way back in the day, I don't remember.
I had
it,
never
though.
seen any of them. I knew they existed, but I was like, I don't
Yeah.
know. I don't
First
care.
one I saw.
And I was like, look, I want to watch something fucked up, so let's watch someone get their mouth sewn to an asshole. That sounds like something that would be a cool Saturday night.
As one does. you know.
Right. So I watched it. I thought the first one was awesome. I actually thought it was pretty well done, like for all the,
No, it's a legit movie.
It's good.
Yeah.
The second one, though, felt like, from beginning to end, a fever dream. And I'm like, what am I watching? What is happening? Who are these people? What, like all this shit. And I highly recommend it. And I don't do drugs. And I'm like, if you do drugs, it's even better.
I feel like maybe I have seen it now that you're talking about it, but I don't remember it at all.
But you really should. Just a refresher. It's.
Yeah.
And then we watched the third one. And before we watched the third one, I said something out loud. I was like, oh, I bet you this is what happens. Okay. And it happened. and I couldn't believe it. I just predicted the future. There's no way they're going to do this. And then they did that.
Nice.
Oh, they went there.
They went there.
Yeah.
The first horror movie that I really got into though would have been Saw. Like when I was
Yeah,
younger,
Saw's fun.
when
Yeah.
I was younger, like Freddy Krueger and that stuff freaked me out when I was a kid.
Yeah.
I remember I used to get weirded out by it, but now I would love to watch those movies and totally fine.
Oh, yeah.
But Saw, the first Saw was amazing.
The first Saw is a good movie.
And they
Carrie
got progressive-
Elwise, right?
What's that?
Carrie Elwise or
Elwis,
Elwise?
I think it is.
Oh
Whatever you say
yeah,
his
yeah,
name.
the dude from Princess Diary. Or
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
Princess Bride.
Robin Hood.
Yes,
Men in Tights.
yeah. But we watched all of those movies as they came out, and we loved how just gruesome they would be. They got ridiculous and stupid.
Yeah.
You can't make 10 movies or 8
Yeah.
movies. It's it gets
Yeah.
stupid at a certain point. But
I only saw them maybe up to 3 or
yeah,
something like that. You know?
I think we got to 7. I don't know. There was a point that I stopped. There was a couple that I haven't seen.
Those movies were fucking making bank though.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that
it was
was-
a
God,
good,
did
yeah.
that shit
That
get
first one
huge.
cost $30, and it made $100 million or
Yeah.
something. I mean, it's wild.
I think they're still making them. There was some newish Saw that came out. It's
Wasn't there
it's
one
some
with Chris
new
Rock?
yeah, that
Chris
sounds
Rock
about
was
right.
in one
yeah.
of them, and he was a detective. I think.
Yeah,
or something.
I
Yeah.
didn't actually see that one. Yeah.
Still crapping those out.
But I
Saw
like,
this backhanding them, bitch slapping Chris Rock.
keep my name out your motherfucking mouth. But no, I lately have been wanting to watch just weird, gory things because I think it's
Yeah.
fun. And honestly, it's because it's fun, and also I could use it as R&D for Brucifer
Right,
songs.
right.
So that's how I look at it.
I've gone in the other direction. In my 20s and shit, dude, I watched so much fucked up stuff, and lately I'm just I don't want to watch anything that's not I want a happy ending right now for some reason.
And I also want to watch a movie that ends on a positive note.
Yeah,
Right.
I don't know why, but I've just kind of lately I've been I just want to watch something fun.
No,
you know?
I think that as we get older, that's kind of shit happens where
Yeah.
you know, because just like me, I'd watched a lot of fucked up shit on the internet, and now I'm I don't know. If I wanna see
Yeah,
that.
I know. I'm just I don't want to. See,
I don't want to see a guy get his head cut off again.
I only got
I've
so
seen
much
it.
time to
Right.
watch something. I don't want something that's going to make me feel bad.
Yeah, I have my mind to make me feel bad. So
Yeah, I
need
know
something that's gonna
exactly. I'm
bring
trying to
me up.
distract myself.
My inner monologue makes me feel worse than anything could possibly do. So I don't need a movie to help that.
Susan and I, we got really into Korean and Japanese horrors 10 years ago now or something. But so we went down that rabbit hole back
That shit's
in the day.
intense, man. They don't
Yeah.
fuck around with those foreign ones.
Yeah, it was remember when they were doing The Grudge and all that, where
Yeah,
it was
yeah.
those were all based on those. So we started watching the real things and got deep into all the crazy shit. And I don't know, they're not. A lot of them aren't they're more creepy, weird. They're not gory. They're more they're almost more dramas a lot of the time. With just there's always just some fucking girl with dark hair in in the video camera.
Indeed.
Did you ever watch Squid Game?
Oh yeah. Squid Game.
I heard everyone loving it.
Yeah.
And I didn't know what it was, so I checked it out. I really
It was
liked
cool.
it too.
Yeah, I liked it.
I enjoyed
Yeah.
that.
It was fun.
Yeah.
It was pretty much like The Running Man. You remember Running Man?
No.
That'd be a good Brucifer one too.
Really?
Bro.
Oh, man.
The Running. Oh my god, dude. You need to watch the original I mean, I don't think they ever remade it or anything, but The Running Man starring Arnold Schwarzenegger from late 80s, and it's like it's one of those things where like you can you get caught, you can go to prison, or you can go on this fucking crazy game show where you might get killed.
Yeah,
and
sounds great.
and they have these guys that come in that are like the hunters. It's fucking Jesse the Body Ventura. And there's one guy who's like an opera guy, and he electrocutes you and shit. It's
Jesus.
It's just awful.
It's with Maria Conchita Alonso, right? Oh, fuck. I did see that.
And
okay.
that guy, the original, he's like that real game show host, plays the game show host. I can't remember the fuck his name is, but like he's one of those like original, he was the original Jeopardy host or some shit. And like
It was Alex Trebek.
You need to watch The Running Man.
I
Have you
will.
ever seen?
I
it would
100%
be,
will.
Bro, there is material in there that would be absolutely crucial Brucifer material. I'm telling
man.
you, it's the best because it's the worst.
I love it. Those are
Yeah.
that's right in my wheelhouse.
Yeah, it's right there with like. Did you ever see Total Recall?
Yeah.
It's right there with like that. But yeah, The Running Man's actually a Stephen King book that they took and like completely like they like bought the rights to it and then they made it like completely not
Ignored
like
the book completely.
It's like okay,
Was it a big hit? Because I
Yeah,
because
it's a
I
big- it's a
like
big
to think
movie.
I mean, it
that
had
know-
Arnold Schwarzenegger,
Right.
baby.
I would
Can't
think,
go
I like to
wrong.
think that I knew a lot of the movies that came out in the late, but I don't remember. hearing
Richard
about that.
Dawson was
Yeah,
the fucking
Rich
Family
host
Feud.
from
Yeah.
Family Feud.
He
Yeah.
plays the like the game show host.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's actually a really good movie too, in its way. you
He's
know,
like an extra. He got kicked off of Family Feud because he was like groping the guests and like touching them inappropriately, right? Just rubbing their upper thigh. That's a great
Which
job
is now
there,
what
Maria.
fucking the guy does now all the time. The fucking dude with the mustache,
Steve
the host-
Harvey?
Steve
yeah, dude. He's always like, "Hey, it's crazy bitches."
Dude. Steve Harvey's
he, though?
suit
I
game
haven't
is
watched it
the
forever.
most on point thing I've ever seen,
What's that?
dude. His suit game, those
Oh,
big old
yeah.
old school fucking
that's-
pinstripe
His
suits.
mustache game, dude.
Yeah.
Nobody's fucking with that mustache.
Yeah. Nope.
Do you remember when he announced the Miss America
Yes.
winner?
Oh,
Raw
yeah,
or
dude.
whatever. Yeah, it was pretty classic.
That was uncomfortable.
Yeah, Steve Harvey's kind of like, I don't know. He's pretty fucking funny.
Oh,
honestly,
yeah.
you know. Yeah, you got to be pretty quick to be doing. And he's on like 4 shows or something. It's like
Yeah,
all
you
he
got the Steve
does.
Harvey
like,
Oh, it's
show.
all
You got
over.
Yeah.
Family Feud and whatever else he does.
and like Family Feud, like dude, they crap those out. They tape like 3 a day or something.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
Harvey coming with hilarious zingers material for
Dude.
days. You can't keep that guy down.
it would be fun to go on that shit or to go on like The Price is Right or something. You know,
I can't get down with the new Prices Right with Drew Carey, man. I know it's been like 10 years, not really new anymore, but
They should have
it's
made
Bob Barker.
They should have
nothing
made
for me.
Mimi one of the girls. Like,
Yes, dude.
in the makeup. This for one episode.
Yeah.
Mimi.
The
That'd be
Drew
awesome.
Carey show, underrated,
That was a good show.
hilarious,
Yeah, it was a funny
hilarious
fucking
show
show.
back in the day.
Hell yeah.
God damn, that shit was great.
Indeed. There was a lot of good shows of that era, man. The sitcom of that era was pretty solid, dude.
Oh yeah,
What was the one with fucking Joe Rogan in it? When he's like young Joe Rogan.
Spin City?
News Radio,
News Radio.
Spin
yeah,
City's
yeah.
another one though
Yeah.
too.
News Radio. Yep.
That was a great one.
That was-
Michael
that
J.
was-
Fox for a while
That was
on there.
pre Fear Factor. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh
yep.
yeah.
That was how he got into it.
That was kind of how he got his big start. Yeah, I think he was just doing stand up before
Weird,
that
right?
and scored that show.
I don't know,
Yeah.
it's so bizarre.
Yeah.
If you go watch like old clips of that show, and because he's just like a bit part of that show, and he's just terrible. You know, it's like not funny at all.
The show's pretty funny, but they always got put
Yeah.
up against these like Seinfeld and shit. They always got
Yeah,
like real
yeah, yeah.
bunk ass time slots and
Indeed.
stuff.
Yeah. Do you like Seinfeld?
Of course.
Yeah.
Love Seinfeld.
Seinfeld was huge for us. Seinfeld and The Simpsons is like
Yep.
the basis of all of our
Material.
comedic- you know, like, that
Yeah.
and Conan. We were big Conan
Love
fans.
Conan.
Yeah.
Love Conan. Did you ever watch? I'm assuming you watched Curb Your Enthusiasm then.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. That's,
Hell yeah.
fucking great.
Huge fan of that. Yeah. I
Have
think
you-
they're gonna make more. I heard they're doing one more.
That'd be awesome.
Oh, I'm sure, man. The last couple seasons are fucking some of the funniest ones, man. I
Yeah.
thought like 9 and 10 were equally funny to anything
I
that's
think
been done.
Larry David might be my spirit animal. Just that his
I would
constant,
love to meet that
his
guy.
constant
Yeah.
annoyance by everything. I can kind of feel that sometimes in my bones.
Have you ever seen, so it's an HBO movie that they made called Clear History, starring Larry David and John Hamm?
Yeah. Yeah.
I
That's
think I
a fucking
did.
funny ass movie. The whole premise is basically like they create this electric cars before electric cars were a real thing.
Mm-hmm.
And they gave it some stupid name, and Larry David's like, I don't like the name. You know, it's a
Yeah,
classic
basically
Larry
Larry
David.
David.
So like
I think he
fucks off
wrote
from
it.
the company.
I think he wrote
Oh,
that
did
movie.
he?
Maybe.
Okay.
Maybe. Could be.
That
I
sounds
do
about
remember
right.
that. What was that, like 7 or 8 years ago?
Yeah.
maybe?
Yeah,
Maybe
yep.
something like that.
Yeah. I do remember that.
Right when John Hamm was really at his peak of being
Yeah.
super famous.
Peak Ham.
Peak Ham. There's a band name for you. We are Peak Ham. So, dude, what's on the fucking docket for you? You said you want to play more shows this year. You got anything booked?
Nothing booked. Like I said, we are gonna try to get something in Bowling Green for April.
Yeah.
And then aside from that, it's trying to get the like the sizzle reel thing going and send it out to people. I wouldn't even know what the best way to send it out is, but like either through YouTube or through Facebook or just through people that I know. Like, hey, you know any bands? Send it to them, kind of thing. But
Yeah.
that's really what I'm trying to do. Is I'm trying to write some new songs, get some new shows.
Hell yeah, man.
That's it for right now, and just see how that goes.
So where do people find your shit then? You got your YouTube channel?
Yeah, so I think all of my social media is Brucifer Music.
Oh, nice.
So
nice,
YouTube
nice.
is Brucifer Music. My email is brucifermusic@gmail. Facebook, Brucifer Music. Basically, anything like that. And you can find my music on Apple Music, Spotify, Pandora, anything.
So
like
all
that.
the streaming, because you brought
Yeah.
us some CDs and shit, so you got it's all up on there.
But yeah, pretty much anywhere. Like I said, I'm starting. So with the YouTube channel, I want to start doing some drum videos where I just do like in my basement, just playing through a bunch of songs, doing covers, just whatever, and doing that kind of stuff and put it on there because I feel like that would be a good way to link to it all.
Yeah, it's fun, man. I started fucking around with that too. And now with the moving over here, I should be able to do a little bit more of it because it was tough to like keep that going, you know. But yeah, it's fun and it's an easy way to just keep creating content. So.
Excuse me.
Yeah, well, if anybody, whoever's listening, if you get a chance to see Brucifer play live, it's fucking awesome. I really enjoyed it for real, and
I appreciate that.
Yeah, man, and check out your song. I wouldn't fucking bullshit you honestly, but like I told you right when talking to Tony at the show, I was like, dude, I got to get this guy on the fucking podcast, man. I was like, this is just so fucking awesome and funny, and like,
I appreciate that.
you know, and being a drummer, I was just like super into it. So. Yeah, man. So fucking thank you for coming.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, dude. Hopefully we'll see you soon at a show and stuff. And go check out Brucifer's shit because it's fucking great. So.
Please do.
That's it. All right. Peace, bitches.
Peace.